We all have heard about the dreaded cookie cutter approaches that most box gyms and personal trainers use that end with a smaller bank account, basic workout templates, and nutrition advice that are just not unique to your body's needs. What if there was a way to hack your body into breakthrough results while building your confidence using a proven habitual approach to your health, nutrition, and mindset?
Good habits always beat good intentions. And what I mean by that is that people always intend to like start working out, going to the gym or eating better, but their habits aren't in place yet. Their habits are always on those old things. If they like to go to the TV and get some chips first. Or
Welcome to the Veteran-Owned Business Monthly Spotlight. My name is Chris Hoffman. I am the founder of the Ambitious Vet Network, Marine Corps combat veteran, and personal and professional development leader. Our mission here is to showcase and spotlight today's most gritty, determined, and inspiring veteran-owned, active duty, and mil-spouse businesses that are boosting the American economy. When most Americans in the world are thinking that the economy is not moving forward. Enjoy their battle-tested services, offerings, and products. You're also going to hear some great stories, failures, and how they are building their next missions during the time that we're all in the COVID-19 crisis. Enjoy.
It's time to get into the trenches, dig into your purpose, and fire up your life's fulfillment. The Ambitious Vet Podcast starts now.
What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Welcome to another monthly veteran-owned business spotlight. Our mission here is to showcase and spotlight today's most gritty, determined, and inspiring active duty, mil-spouse, and veteran-owned businesses that are boosting the American economy when others may think the economy is going down. You're going to hear some great battle-tested services, offerings, and products, but more importantly, some good stories, some failures, and how veterans and active duty mil spouses are building their new missions and an economy that, most people would be scared about. Today, our veteran business spotlight is going to be Dr. Paul Henning. He's dedicated pretty much his whole professional life to helping people transform their health, mindset, fitness, and nutrition. With over 25 years of academic and practical knowledge in the fitness industry and over 15 years of leadership experience as an Army officer, right? He has combined a habit-based approach, accountability, and support network to guide people through the essential steps needed to look, feel, and function better and learn how to keep the results permanently. Imagine that, ambitious vet, getting rid of that COVID body and having permanent results. Dr. Paul Henning, man, are you there?
Hey, Chris. Yes, I am. I'm here, man. I'm excited to be on here with you, man. Appreciate that. You made me chuckle a bit about the COVID body.
Bro, it's a real thing, man. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
So, brother,
yeah,
thanks for joining. Let's just dive on in, man. So what inspired you to start this health, performance, and well-being brand, and why this chosen industry?
Yeah, so I mean, Bob, I love this field since I can remember, since I was a young kid. Man, like growing up, 10 years old in my basement with the sand weights way back when the sand weights that's all we had. But anyway, I guess you could say like the bug bit me. It got into my bloodstream and my nerves, and it grew from there. And So, long story short, without giving you my life story, I mean, I just like dedicated my life to it. I mean, I went through academic degrees from bachelor's, master's, and PhD. I came in the Army right after 9/11, and I had the privilege and honor to focus on warfighter health and performance and help our military, basically with what I've learned in college and apply that. So, but recently, and now that my military career is on its kind of your final leg, so to speak, if you want to say that. I'm in my final 5 to 6 years. I'm looking ahead, like what's next. So I'm gonna finish out my 20-year career as an Army officer, and then look at what's next. So I mean, I love it, and right now, of course, I don't have the bandwidth to do anything face to face. Right, so I'm doing an online coaching program, and it's been going well. And that's kind of what my focus is right now. I started it up probably about 6 to 8 months ago, and there's so much more room to grow and learn. But that's what my intention to do for the next 6 years as I finish out my career, Chris.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And, Ambitious Vet, if you're listening to this, the results that he's getting from online coaching, which let's face it, it's hard to hold people accountable online, right? Like it's just not
It,
easy,
it
right?
is.
And could you
Yeah.
share like a quick case study? Because I know we have some mutual friends that you've personally coached online and they're getting amazing results. Would you feel free to just share a quick case study on what would say your top
Yeah.
results story would be?
Yeah. So, well, there's been a couple of them coming in. A fellow veteran, Ben Killoy. I know you know him.
Yeah.
So he's like a different man. I mean, I don't even recognize him anymore.
He's posting pictures of the shirt off and stuff now. I'm like, that ain't the same guy I knew.
Yeah, he's
Months ago.
like,
That's amazing.
and he had like a new haircut and all. I seriously didn't recognize him when he popped
Yeah.
on the screen. But yeah, Ben's dropped. I don't even know what the final number. Like last time he told me it was 25 pounds, Chris.
Wow.
But he looks great, man. He feels so much better. Most important to me, like, it's the confidence that people get to behind like the physical part is important. Of course, the health parameters, losing body fat, gaining muscle. But what it does for our psyche, our self-esteem, and our confidence is awesome. How it changes like life at home too is really cool. So that's one of them. I just had a recent one, husband-wife team. I'm not even sure if you saw that. They actually just I put the testimonial up last night only, and they both lost 35 pounds. And you got to check it out if you haven't yet. But it's pretty amazing
Wow.
when you see the before and after. But again, what's important? It's not all about weight loss. That's not even what I tell people. Like, hey, I tell them to stay the hell away from the damn scale because that could mess people up in the minds. Because it's not the only thing that tells us how we're doing. It's a results driven program, but it's most importantly, it's not like a quick fix, you know, diet, restrict, and all that kind of stuff. So it's teaching them how to get results permanently and keep them.
Yeah, so they can kind of keep their quality of life, right? So like
Yeah,
some of us
exactly.
like still have our midnight sweet tooth, right? And
Yep.
someone's telling me, "Hey, I can't have that that cookie at midnight with my milk." I don't like that. So it sounds like you're being able to not have them sacrifice, that tub of ice cream maybe a couple times a week, but still being able to find the results that boost their confidence.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I mean, it's not like you got to cut off all your carbs. You can't eat bread anymore. You can eat pasta, whatever. No, there's a place and time for certain foods, and that's part of finding how to eat stuff and how to make food work for you. Basically, that's one part of the program.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the most rewarding part for me is just like when seeing that the confidence in people and just being and they tell me like I've never felt like this in my life, and that's awesome, man. It's
Yeah.
really rewarding.
Good, man. Yeah. And I know last time I talked to Ben, he was just like, I never thought I would feel this way again. For Ambitious Vet, those of you who are listening to this, Ben Killoy is a Marine Corps veteran who runs Military Veteran Dad podcast, I think it is.
That's
Huge
right.
podcast, is going very quickly and has a heart of gold on bringing military veteran dads home psychologically, which is an amazing mission. And this man said that before working with Dr. Paul Henning, he couldn't look himself in the mirror. Now he looks at himself in the mirror with pride, right? And I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of us, man, that get out of the military, or maybe it's a male spouse that's always moving around, always trying to take care of, at home stuff, right? While people are, their spouse is deployed or something, and they can't
Yes.
keep up with the daily habits. And if you're listening to this and you're just like, man, I want to be looking at myself in the mirror and feel that pride. I want to feel that confidence. I'm telling you, Dr. Paul Henning has found a proven system, habitual system to help you plug in, plug and play, and get the results you're looking for. So,
Yep.
Dr. Paul Henning,
Cool.
My first job when I got out of the Marine Corps was in a huge box gym, right? Fitness was one of my first passions when I first got out. And
Nice.
one thing I picked up inside this box gym was the cookie cutter approach towards like personal training and stuff like that. How is like your system separating from those cookie cutter approaches and really customizing towards people's individual health and wellness goals.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, the cookie cutter approach, I mean, is just that, right? It's not going to work for everybody. Everybody's different. Everybody's metabolism is different, and how they respond. People are fast responders. Some people are slow responders.
Yeah.
And the one thing is, the cookie cutter programs, they don't they don't teach habits. I mean, for one example, is a meal plan. Like, you know, there's lots of meal plans out there, and you could just hand you something and hey, go eat this for for weeks
Yeah.
on end or whatever. And honestly, we know from doing research on this too that, I mean, I could give like the most incredible meal plan there is to somebody, but they don't stay on it very long. People, and why they don't is because it doesn't teach that ingrained habit where they could start learning and like empowering. So what I do differently is it's a education slash empowerment type of program
Hmm.
where people make choices for themselves. So I'm not this dictator being like, you got to eat, the chicken, broccoli, and rice,
Right.
every day or a couple, whatever. So though people learn, and then they learn how to cook, meal prep quickly, learn systems in the kitchen to make it fun and enjoyable, and enjoy their food, like actually enjoy it, and not eating like bland food and bland chicken, because
Right.
who can stay on it too long, right? I mean, I know I
Right.
can't. So that, I mean, food should be enjoyable, but it's the way you make it and the way you cook and stuff, and that's what the difference with making it work for you. So yeah, so it's that too, Chris, and right away, I'm not sure if you want to get right into some other details, but what I do right off the bat with people is I metabolically classify them, and what that is, it's not an invasive procedure. It's I'm not taking blood or tissue samples or muscle biopsies. A lot of people ask me about that. They're like, "What? I mean, I
Yeah.
have to get
Super
blood?"
scientific.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And what it honestly is, it's a questionnaire. It's 15 questions, but it's really good questions, and it's asked a person all about their history, like what they've been doing, how many diets they've been, what's their age, how's their sleep, what's their stress like, all these type of things, and it just comes down and it puts them in a category. It's like 3 categories, and these categories don't mean good or bad.
Hmm.
I always tell people this. It lets me know that if you've been dieting for, like, doing restrictive diets for years on end, then I know that you're in this certain category, and we need this. It lets me know exactly the right type and amount of exercise to give this person, where they're not going to overtrain. And
Hmm.
real quick caveat is that so many people dive in when they want to get in shape and lose weight. They dive into 6 days a week programs on the treadmill, going an hour a day, and eating like a rabbit, you know. And bottom line, is just, it leads to burnout, and
Yeah.
it destroys their metabolism, and they might lose a little weight in the beginning, but they gain it back always, and they always usually typically put on more than where they started. So, and that's because their metabolism gets depressed. It makes it harder. So, and that's it. I work with from the inside out. So I teach them how to really build their metabolism healthy and get that on track first.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah, what I'm hearing in that is, you get a baseline, right? You figure out where they're at, what categories they may fall under, and then you start figuring out, okay, based on their current habitual routines on everyday life, you'll maybe customize towards what their already habits are, and figure out how you put just a few other key elements in there to help guide them in the right direction. And it sounds
Yep.
like
Yes, sir.
it's very self-directed. You're just kind of carrot and sticking in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, it teaches that's where it starts, and then it gets week by week. They learn a little bit more about we get into the metabolic nutrition, and that's just the term that basically make food work for you. Like
Yeah.
carb metabolism, like what's the right carbs at the right time. Because I know you heard it. All these people that are afraid of carbs, and the first thing they're like, okay, I'm gonna go on a diet. I'm not gonna eat carbs anymore. I'm not gonna touch bread or pasta. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. I mean, there's a place for it though. There is a place that you can have it, um, but that's kind of like what I go from there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, for us over here at my household, like we're eating at like 9:30 at night, and sometimes we have pasta. Last night we had some pasta and some sauce, and sometimes you wake up feeling a little bloated, and that's when you know maybe the timing might be a little off. So, what would be like one best practice you would say as far as like, you know, best utilizing carbs? If someone's out there
mhm.
just like, I'm doing the beach body stuff, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I'm still like waking up and still looking the same, still feeling the same. What would be like one thing that you could tell them as far as just the carbohydrate system? What would be something
Yeah,
to give them to that?
yeah. Great question. So really, carbs are pretty much in they're in two categories. We could classify the carbs into two categories in there, and that's what I teach. It's a high energy and low energy, and this high energy and low energy category takes into account, all the things we know about carbs, like the glycemic index, the glycemic load. I mean, the diabetics have to pay attention to that, right? Because they're
Yeah.
glucose. But I mean, it gets complicated when you like start looking at glycemic indexes. It does. So really, the we can fit them all into two categories. Now, um, the high energy carbs are the ones that are going to get a quick whack of energy to your system, quick, like the pasta, the rice,
Mm.
the
Yeah.
the potatoes, any type of whole grains like that. They're going to get a quick load of glucose, and then insulin follows that. Insulin always follows glucose, up or down.
Mm.
Um, so what I teach is like, let's pack those in around this metabolic window, which is a kind of a roughly it's a roughly 3 hour time frame where, once intense exercise starts, and this is like the heavy resistance training with the weights, that's intense, and then also the intense cardio. Both of those create this kind of window of opportunity. And really, what it does, we just know that, from doing the research and like doing tracer studies where we could trace the actual, when you consume the carb, we can trace it, where in the hell it goes in the body, which is
Wow.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And we know from doing this that, after intense exercise, like the carbs, like they did the study, I believe, with pasta, 400 grams, and they showed that like, practically none of it got spilled over into fat tissue. It all went into the muscle, for replenishment of glycogen,
Wow.
which
Yeah.
which is just more, carbs inside your muscle for more energy. So yeah, and once the clients learn how to do that, then that your body starts kind of readjusting itself, and then
Mm.
it kind of starts learning how to burn your fat for fuel. Now, carbs, traditionally we just know carbs as bread, pastas, rices, potatoes, right? Yams, sweet potatoes, but legumes, all kinds of vegetables too, they're all carbohydrates.
Yeah.
So, and I know they're foreign to a lot of people out
Yeah,
there,
I
right?
mean,
Right?
I
Right?
didn't know that, right? We don't
No,
think of those as carbohydrates.
right.
We're
No,
like
absolutely.
people that are not educated in it, right? I see that as like, oh, fiber, so I can digest.
Right. And
That's where my
it
mind
is,
goes.
yeah, you're right. And it is definitely fiber. They're high, those ones right there are high in fiber, but they're actually carbs. And the point is here, our body processes those carbs a lot differently than
Mm,
it does the pastas and the rices. And that's
yeah.
where,
This
yeah.
is huge. This is huge, man, because when I first got out, an ambitious vet, if you're listening to this, I hope you're gaining some good nutrition advice here, because I know when I first got out of the Marine Corps, I got an athletic training certificate from a community college because I was still trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do. Right.
Yeah.
And, they always said it, fitness and nutrition and well-being is 80% nutrition. And at that point, man, I was putting like 2 hours a day in the gym, and I was a total
Uh,
meathead, but I was wondering why I wasn't looking the way I wanted to look. And like in this conversation, Ambitious Fed, if you're listening to this, realize that it is 80% nutrition. You've got to start learning and tuning into your body and figuring out, to Dr. Paul Henning's point, your metabolic window, how your body naturally digests food, and figuring out how to tune it in. Because I think it sounds like it just makes all the difference. Am I right,
Yeah,
Dr. Paul?
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it does. It does. It can. Again, once your body starts getting used to eating this way, and that's the thing with a lot of people, and that's what I was alluding to earlier. Some people take a little bit longer than others, and it depends. Like, and this is the thing that's so funny. Everybody wants quick results, right? They'll.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they've been dieting and restricting for like, some people 5, 10 years,
Mm.
trying diet roller coasters. And then they're like, why am I, after 4 weeks or 5 weeks with me, they're like, why am I not losing weight?
Yeah.
And here's the, and that's the thing, Chris. I mean, I never promise people like weight loss. I never say like, you're going to lose 10 pounds, definitely you're going to lose 15 or whatever. But I always tell people like, once we get your metabolism on track, I promise you your results will come. And
Mm.
and I stand by that word 100%. And that's the truth, because physiology is physiology, and we're all human beings, and we all, we all have the same physiological systems. Like I said, some people are different than others, but yeah. But yes, sir, that's it. That's the answer.
No, I love it. I love it, man. I mean, you're so scientific, man. You have so much educational and scientific data, and just credentials on the background. I know that you could probably teach a whole course on it, but thanks for dissecting it as far as you did. I want to kind of step back just a little bit and dive into a business conversation with you. And then we can go into psychology of working out. And I want to throw a scenario at you before we wrap this whole thing up. But I mean, for you,
Sure.
because right now, man, there's a lot of business owners that are suffering right now, right? But not only are you, like we were just
Yeah.
talking about offline, you are, 16-year Army officer working full time. How many kids do you have?
I have four.
Four
I have four.
kids.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
four. There's one that doesn't live with me all the time, but I have three little girls that are young, 4, 2, and 8 months, and that's a handful.
Brother, you got a small army you're building. You got a wife.
Squad, a
And,
little alpha team, right?
yeah, man. You got it going on, but you're still successfully building this great company that's producing some real results for people and helping them build confidence from the inside out. And I want to dive into your psychology a little bit around your business, right? What has been some of the biggest challenges during these times as far as growing this business, this online business, right?
Hmm.
And what are some bulletproof tactics that you've learned to get ahead of it moving in the future?
Hmm. Yeah, great questions for sure. And I think I'm still learning a little bit about those questions that you just asked me. I
Yeah.
would say so. The first one is challenges of an online business in my space,
Yeah.
in the fitness space. So I'm sure you're well aware, and a lot of people listening, there's a dime. It's almost like a dime a dozen,
Mm.
right? Fitness coaches or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, the beach bodies stuff. I mean, you look at, there's a lot of stuff out there, and that's a challenge. Is that people now? I never I never come across be like, hey, I'm a doctor. You need to listen
Yeah.
to me. I help. That helps. I think that gives credibility for sure, and people, I think, trust that, and they trust that I'm an Army
Of
officer,
course.
and that starts good conversations, and then they start getting results, and they see. But I do have to, believe it or not, I got to fight through a lot of crap out there, a lot of shit, and a lot of beliefs, a lot of people, a lot of patterns that they believe in about past dieting and stuff like that, and it is. It's a lot. It's a lot of crap to fight through. So that in my space, that's the challenge. Is that
Mm.
people that right there? Then also people that have failed so many times that they just don't have the confidence in themselves to
Mm.
do. To try and like see something through.
For sure.
So it's a lot of I mean, part of my coaching is a lot of mindset stuff and a lot of you know trying to get people to believe in themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
are primarily focusing on top performing professionals, right? So people that are, in the trenches day in and day out, trying to improve themselves, busy and stuff like that. And sometimes, their health and nutrition can fall to the wayside too, right? So you're trying to get their
Yes.
attention, from, coming from my experience, even, coaching and mentoring top performing ambitious vets. sometimes you got to get past their pride. You have to get past them, knowing something from the past, right? And re-educating them, kind of
Right.
unteaching them something, right?
Right.
The bad
Right.
habits. So
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
So
so
true.
like re-basic training type stuff, right? Like
Yeah. Yep.
unlearning. So
Unlearning. Yeah.
that's awesome, brother. No, I love it. I love it. I love it. And from people that we both know mutually, your accountability system, your way to just make yourself accessible and available is unparalleled to any other online coach from what I'm hearing out there. But what, in your words, would you say would separate you from other online coaches out there?
Yeah. So I think, I mean, the system I use is 100%. It's backed by research. I mean, we know everything you want to know about nutritional biochemistry, uh, things you want to know about progressive resistance training to put on lean muscle tissue and lose fat. What works, what actually works, what kind of program designs work, the psychology behind habits. Um, that's a big part. There's a whole module in my course called the habit loop, and teaching how to break bad habits and instill new ones through a 3-part habit loop process.
It's
Because
huge.
habits are everything. We do things every day because we just, I mean, it's a habit. We don't even think,
Yeah.
we don't think about it, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a big part about changing that, and because good habits always beat good intentions, and what I mean by that is that people always intend to like start working out, going to the gym, or eating better, but their habits aren't in place yet. Their habits are always on those old things, and they like to go to the TV and get some chips first, or
Yeah.
or whatever, whatever
Right.
it is. But anyway, so that's one part of what I do different. I think, Chris, is what I teach is ingrained in it, and it's also, you know, I collect data on clients as they go along, and that's huge. Because if we don't know like where we've been or what we're doing, how in the hell do we know to adjust it or what to change, right? Just like anything in life. I mean,
That's good.
military operations, whatever. I mean, we know a lot about we know a lot about their enemy first before we make some type of move. So it's the same type of thing. We just got to know data and like how to adjust, how to progress our nutrition, for instance. We just can't keep eating the same exact thing or the same amount, whatever. If we want to get our body that's a little bit better, a little bit leaner, a little bit more muscle, we got to progress our nutrition. So, okay, I can't help anybody if they haven't been collecting some data on that. And I don't mean it's painstaking data that they have to do day in and day out, but it's like little, maybe a couple of weeks out of that first program, we got to do a little snapshot of what they've been doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, the last thing I would say is, man, I love it. So, I hope what you said earlier that holds true 5 years, 10 years from now, is that I'm available and I'm there. I passionately care about the people that I'm helping, and I absolutely want the best for them. So,
Yeah. That's huge. Ambitious, if you're listening to this, it's huge to have someone else documenting your progress versus you trying to think about how do I manage this busy professional life and also document my progress as far as scientifically around metabolics and stuff like this that Dr. Paul Henning is an expert in, right? So leverage his expertise. It'll allow you to have peace of mind to focus on what you're the best at. Leverage him around documentation. Documentation was a hard lesson I had to learn the hard way myself too. So that's
yeah,
amazing. And I love that you're not having people feel like lab rats either. you're doing the scientific background and research and stuff like that, documenting along the way, which allows them to see a proven path for success. So that's amazing. So I got 2 last questions for you, brother.
sure.
That I think that will really, really hit this nail home here for this veteran business spotlight. But what would be some of the mistakes that you're finding people make that are impacting their self-esteem, their confidence within their health and wellness area in everyday life?
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I think again, it's the mistakes are people, and I can't blame them either. There's so much stuff out there, so they're going on some diets out there, and I mean, there's reason for me to start naming them, but they're diets, and they're not, and they're popular over social media or website or on the web or whatever, or they're learning them from their friends, and so they're trying them. And like, again, like what I said, that they're not, bottom line, they're just not a lot of these diets out there. And I mean, there might be some that work good for people, better than others, but so many of them aren't long-term solutions. And like I said, I've seen it. I've just seen so many people come to me and they're like, I've been trying stuff for like 5 years or 10, whatever. And like, I'll lose some weight and then I'll gain it back, and that's usually the story. It's like, and I know exactly what's going on within their bodies, but, so I think that starts to, like I said, I think it starts to wear on people's self-confidence, and some people like, accept it. Like they think like this is one area. I've had a guy just like kicks ass in like so many areas of his life, but he just can't get this area down of health and fitness. And it's like, it's almost like people self-sabotage themselves sometimes.
Yeah, I can see that. So one mistake would be definitely self-sabotage, because they're so busy trying to get somewhere, or, hit a desired outcome in like their business life, that like, one of their mistakes is self-sabotaging in a, mental way, habitual way, or something like that, man, that stops them. And then at the end of the day, they could easily it could hurt their confidence, man, because let's face it, man, us as men, we thrive better when we take off our shirts and we're just like, yeah, I work hard for this, right? I mean, it's just a guy thing, you know what I mean? It is.
It's just since that's ingrained in us, man, since the Spartan age, right?
Yeah, exactly, brother. So I want to wrap this up with throwing a scenario at you, right? And this actually hits home with me personally. So that's probably why I'm going to throw this at you, because you're going to throw me some great golden grenades as well. But here's a scenario, right? I'm a 35-year-old who, since getting out of the Marine Corps, right, has allowed my discipline and the continued health and nutrition, fitness, and mindset arena take a back seat because of, a new wife, a new business venture, right? And just trying to balance becoming the best family man that I can be, and be the best business leader I can be, right? But I also remember when I was lean and mean, that tough Marine, right? And 6% body fat, pushing 200 pounds for, 10 reps and stuff like that on the bench press.
Animal.
But now I'm lucky to push 135, right? So here's the thing: is my biggest fear is the amount of time that's going to take to rebuild back that endurance and strength, right? But also, not only that, but just the sacrifice it's going to take away from me being productive and growing my business, but also being the best man for my family and my new wife. What would be one habit, nutrition, it could be health, fitness wise, that you advise me in this situation to take, and why?
Yeah, that's a good one. So there's a lot going on there. I could talk about this for a while, about what happens to guys, as they go older. Because I love this topic a lot. I love helping men because that's who I am. But anyway, I would say the one thing you need to do, and I was guilty of this, is, and as you pack on a family and a job and a business, you have to 100% take time for yourself. So, I mean, whether that, time block it on a calendar or whatever it is, that's the first step, is blocking it and taking it. And I mean, I don't know if some people might say that's whatever they call it, but I don't know, selfish. I don't think that's the right word at all. But if you do that and start putting time into yourself, you're going to show up so much better, Chris, man, for your family, for your business, for your loved ones, etc. I 100% promise you that.
Yeah.
That'd be my one thing. There's a lot of things that follow that, but that's my one thing.
That's great. I love it, man. I mean, because I don't know about you, ambitious vet that's listening to this, but I set myself off to the back end sometimes. I want to make sure everyone else around me is taken care of. And I think that's naturally in our DNA for being military, mil spouse, or whoever listening to this right now. We just put ourselves on the back end and we want to serve the people in front of us. So thank you for that. I'm going to personally start time blocking self-care stuff, brother. So
absolutely.
So Dr. Paul Henning, where can we find out more? How can we plug into your ecosystem, man? Because you're doing some amazing things to help accelerate people's results, right? How do we avoid the COVID-19 body by connecting?
Yeah. So what I would recommend is, well, I have a website. It's my name. It's www.drpaulhenningphd.com, DR for doctor. And there's a free course on there. There's a free fat loss course. And I always tell people, like, hey, this is, if you want to learn more about my philosophy and what I believe in, just take this course, and then let's talk after that. So my website's my email's on there, and then of course I'm on Facebook. I have a group. I have a free group called Operation Transformation, and I've had that name for quite a while now, and I like, of course, it's the military, right? I mean, you could tell, like, this guy's military. But I think of it as, like, transforming is an operation, and that's it's a mind body thing, and takes a lot of different components. So that's a free group, and then just Paul Henning on Facebook. You can message me there and find more about me there for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Ambitious Vet, if you're listening to this, go and take that free course. If you're looking to just, get that summer body going, because at some point this COVID-19 stuff's gotta pass. Or if you're just looking to get inside of an ecosystem where, I'm a part of this Operation Transformation Facebook group, and he's just posting results consistently of people losing 10, 15, 20 pounds. Not only that, but just people rebuilding their habits to take care of themselves as they build their high-performing life. So if that's you that's trying to figure out how to bring that missing puzzle piece to your life, which may be health and wellness and well-being, I encourage you to reach out to Dr. Paul Henning. He's done the work, obviously 25 years of experience. That's the people you want to be following. Well, Dr. Paul Henning, brother, I just want to acknowledge you for being our Veteran Business Spotlight this month. I acknowledge you for what you're doing for our community. I acknowledge you also for balancing everything that you balance in everyday life, brother.
Yeah,
thanks for joining.
I appreciate that, Buzz. It's a challenge sometimes, but man, it's been awesome to be on here, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
The Ambitious Vet is available on all popular podcast platforms. Go to vettrainingcoaching.com to subscribe, rate, and share with fellow vets.